Volkswagen live von der IAA in Frankfurt. Ich freue mich wahnsinnig, dass Sie eingeschaltet haben. Wir sind hier auf der Group Night des Volkswagen-Konzerns. Ja, und so langsam füllt es sich auch. Wir erwarten insgesamt 1000 Gäste. In knapp 15 Minuten geht die große Show los und ja, noch ist alles streng geheim. Aber es gibt zwei Leute, die wissen ganz genau, was gleich passieren wird. Bei mir sind Evren Gezer und Daniel Fischer. Hallo ihr zwei.
Hallo.
Ihr werdet gleich durch die große Show führen. Evren, ihr probt seit 2 Tagen.
Ja.
Was erwartet die Gäste gleich?
Auf jeden Fall sehr viele Aha-Momente, das kann ich schon mal sagen. Ich weiß nicht, ob du es erwähnt hast, Sina, dass wir hier in einem verhüllten VW-Stand stehen. Und zwar verhüllt mit weißen Vorhängen. Das ist sinnbildlich das weiße Blatt Papier, das neu beschrieben werden soll. Also wir werden hier in den nächsten Minuten auf jeden Fall erfahren, in welche Richtung die Marke Volkswagen sich mit sehr großer Dynamik bewegt. Es ist ja schon durchgedrungen, dass es ein neues Logo gibt. Das werden wir heute Abend natürlich auch sehen, auch schon auf einem Auto. Also auf jeden Fall versprechen die nächsten Minuten den Beginn eines neuen Kapitels. So viel kann ich schon mal sagen.
Neues Logo,
ja.
Neues Auto.
Ja.
Daniel, du bist ein Autofan.
Ja, absolut.
Was wird dein persönliches Highlight des Abends
Also auf jeden Fall die Autos. Ne? Also natürlich stehen die heute Abend im Mittelpunkt und wir sehen eine absolute Weltpremiere hier gleich auf der Bühne. Aber was ich auch besonders toll finde, es gibt so viele VW-Mitarbeiter auf der ganzen Welt, die heute Abend dabei sein wollen. Zum Beispiel in Göteborg gibt es ein Public Viewing, in Schweden, in Zwickau, in Wolfsburg. Die wollen alle dabei sein, weil es ein besonderer Moment ist, weil heute Abend die Welt erfährt, wie der größte Automobilhersteller in die Zukunft geht. Und ich glaube, ja, so sehr in Bewegung wie Volkswagen im Moment ist, war die Marke vielleicht noch nie. Und das mit einer atemberaubenden Dynamik. Und ich finde, das merkt man heute Abend in jedem Detail und da freue ich mich sehr drauf.
Ihr Lieben, ich wünsche euch eine ganz tolle Group Night. Ihr müsst jetzt hinter die Bühne. Also
Ja.
toi, toi, toi,
Ja.
das wird eine tolle Show.
Ja, viel
Und
Spaß.
Sie nehme ich jetzt mit in unser bislang auch noch vollkommen geheimes Studio. Dafür müssen wir einmal hier die Treppe runtergehen und uns durch die Menge wuseln. Es ist mittlerweile wirklich schon ganz schön voll hier. Journalisten sind da, viele TV-Teams sehe ich. Und was Ihnen vielleicht schon aufgefallen ist, wir haben bislang noch kein einziges Fahrzeug, noch nicht mal ein verhülltes gesehen. Also, es ist momentan noch ein ganz, ganz großes Geheimnis. Wir laufen jetzt noch mal Abend, hallo, laufen jetzt noch einmal ein bisschen weiter. Auch hier ganz viele Journalisten aus aller Welt, alle auch zum Teil mit Headset ausgestattet. Klar, wir haben hier viele verschiedene Sprachen, senden ja selber auch in Deutsch und auf Englisch. Und jetzt dürfen wir das tun, was vor uns noch niemand durfte.
German and English. So now we are allowed to do something which no one was allowed to do before. We can secretly slip through the curtain, walk around the corner, and here we are. A cordial welcome to my new parlor for the next 2 days. And you can see that even here everything is veiled. We can't see the new logo. We still have white boards in the background, so no color. And if it hadn't been for my suit, you would think it's a black and white show, but this will change in the course of the evening, mind you. What I may, however, already disclose is that we will not only be on air live from here, but also tomorrow and the day after tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 3 a.m. every day. We have many interesting guests, for example, the National Football Coach Joachim Löw and the Chief Executive Herbert Dies will also come presently. And I'm very glad that just prior to the group night, he was able to spend a few minutes with us. Here's the Volkswagen designer Klaus Bischoff. Hello, Mr. Bischoff. Great to have you here. Good evening. Hello. New Volkswagen. So it's the year 2019, and this is really under this heading, under this motto. And this has been conveyed by the brand very clearly. How are they going to demonstrate this tonight? Well, for all of us, this is a great moment really. We've been working for this for 3.5 years now to reinvent Volkswagen, so to speak. That was a great teamwork with all the different faculties of the companies, all have contributed to it, and it is very important to us that Volkswagen should be perceived as a different brand with new values. And we stand for sustainability. We want to have carbon-free mobility for everybody rather. That is what we would like to offer. So this is our job, and now we have a new Volkswagen logo. It will also be displayed tonight at the high-rise on the Volkswagen works, and it's really very exciting to all of us. So we will also now experience very soon the reinvention of a group, industrial group maybe. Answer yes, I think we can claim this, because this is a new orientation not only of the Volkswagen brand, but of the whole group in the direction of a sustainable, responsible mobility. And we take this very seriously. Or the challenges that we have to face with the climate change, and we would like to contribute to maintain the Earth as it is. You also already referred to the new brand design. Many companies also outsource or even outsource this creative process, but this is not the case here, because this was all done in-house. So it must have been a huge job. How did you tackle this? Well, when we were given this task, we met in a small group and consulted with each other in order to find out how we could proceed. And then very readily the idea came to our mind that we should really involve all the different line departments and faculties of the company, and in a powerhouse, in a small project house. We wanted to see this through and start the whole project, kick it off, and it worked very well. And we had really a role model function for many to join forces and go in the same direction in order to bring about something good. On top of the event design, we will also have the presentation of the ID.3 tonight. Now, cross your heart, how good did you sleep over the past few nights? Because this will be a really big premiere tonight. Yes, it will be. Well, I slept quite well, I must say, but even for me, it is a great moment, because I was intensively involved with my great team working on this car. So this is like a signal for this new awakening, the new change. And when this car will be on the road and in the streets, and this mobility will become more tangible, then this will be quite convincing for our customers, and they will more readily understand why we wanted to give our brand a new appearance. Mr. Bishop, we will also have another appearance in the show. I don't want to keep you much longer. Great that you took the time to be with us. I wish you every success for tonight. And so the next 50 minutes will be anything but boring, and our next guest certainly isn't either. He is a member of the jury of the Car of the Year 2020. He's editor-in-chief of Mobile.de, and for the 10th time here at the Frankfurt Motor Show. Welcome, Timo Friedman. Hello, Sina. I've told you 10 times, so it's really great. Well, I really counted, I think it's even 12. Well, really, then I got the wrong piece of information here. So, bother. But 12 times is even better. So the question is there anything that can be of a surprise for you? Or would you say, I've seen everything, so I can go home? Well, I was in front of my hotel and wanted to recharge my mobile phone. And here's a lot of e-cars from Mercedes, Volkswagen. Well, we can't see any cars here. I passed the corridors. I couldn't see anything, the aisles. Well, and when I came into my hotel room and wanted to charge my mobile phone, but there was no power from the outlet. So everything is electrified, but not the hotels. Well, if we take a look back at the past 12 Frankfurt Motor Shows, what were personal highlights? What can you still remember? It was always difficult with my memory, but I think that every IAA Frankfurt Motor Show was an innovative driver. I rather take like Michael Schumacher. I had to look ahead and try to face new topics that are in store for me. That was always the case in the past. The Frankfurt Motor Show was always a good starting point. Some ideas prevailed, others didn't. In ID.3, my first IAA, that was also with hydrogen drives, could be of interest today, even but at that time it didn't win the day. Well, you just talked about the past. So what was your very first vehicle? My own car. I had this deux chevaux. That was really a very old car with a lot of dents, but it's definitely a stylish car. Yes, and I had many breakdowns as well. So, but I loved it. But what's your first car? Yes, I always drove a group car. I had a D3 station wagon. They only came in gray and white, or mine was blue, green, and gray. So it's a metallic mix, I would say. So it came just after my birth. That was when this car was born as well. So it was manufactured in 1989. With the D3, it was the case that it was born into an era where the Frankfurt Motor Show was still a radiant and a brilliant event, where we had visitors, records, and all-time highs. 1.2 million, I checked it, so that's quite a huge number. So what is the relevance of the motor show today? 1.2 million, as I remember that as well. That was really a lot, but we didn't have YouTube and other social media, nothing else. I think in today's discussion, the IAA Motor Show certainly is of great importance, maybe not as important as perhaps 15 or 20 years ago, maybe. But some of those manufacturers who do not exhibit here today, well, I must say that this is not correct, because I think we still need mobility and offers for our mobility. And the IAA Motor Show doesn't stand for 10-cylinder petrol cars, but the possibility of being mobile, of moving about with a car. Well, now the manufacturers are under pressure. What is your perception, and what challenges are they facing, the different brands? Answer, well, we just had this tragic accident in Berlin with an SUV where members of a family died with casualties and persons were killed. So what I don't like about the discussion is that nobody thinks of the victims, that they don't think, oh, these poor persons, but they kick off a debate, cars are bad and the SUVs are bad. I think this is a populistic approach, which is not good. It's not positive. We need clear facts and clear arguments. We can discuss whether we need big cars or small cars, but this is not discussed in a factual manner. Because just because somebody from the German environmental protection organizations refer to it and the media pick it up. So I think we need a less populist approach in our debate. So let's leave it at that. Let's come to those topics which are the trendy topics today. Digitization, e-mobility. What would you say? What challenges do the brands have to face in this respect? Answer, well, I think what is not very clear is in what direction we're going. Volkswagen relies very much on e-mobility, and as a brand, I think they act as a vanguard right now, although others may have a different view. But Volkswagen is very active in Berlin, where I live, working on mobility concepts. We have Drive Now, Car2Go, which have joined forces, but also we share. And I've tried some of the e-Golfs. We only have e-Golfs there. And that was really great. It's sensational. They run very well. They're available everywhere. It's a great model that they have established there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what will turn out to be sustainable and what will work ultimately in the future. Timo, thank you very much for your appraisal. And I hear that everybody seems to be right on position now. I wish you... We did talk about the ID.3. Yes, that's true, but we will see it presently, so don't worry. So we will do that latest. So enjoy your 12th IAA. And we will meet again after the show when Herbert Dies, the CEO, will come to join us. And I wish you a very enjoyable Volkswagen Group night. See you then.
Hallo.
Good evening, hi, and a very warm welcome. Hi, the first big challenge of the night. Okay, 180 degrees, please turn around. We're up here on the stairs. And very briefly, information. Over there are some people who'd like to come a bit closer to the stage. So if you could move up a little to the right in front of the stage, there's lots of room for you and everybody can move up from the back. Good evening and hi. And a very warm welcome to the Volkswagen Group Night at the Frankfurt Motor Show 2019, International Automotive Show. Daniel Fischer and myself, we have the big joy and pleasure to lead you through the evening tonight. And it's an evening, a night that that you've looked forward to in Hall 3 at the Frankfurt Fairgrounds, us as well. And it's a very important evening for Volkswagen, shown by the fact that there are lots of Volkswagen employees who are definitely going to be with us for the next minutes. For example, in Gothenburg, in Sweden, people want to watch. There's a big public screen there. Same public screen also in Zwickau and, of course, in the Wolfsburg plant. So, greetings. Hi from Frankfurt to the different public screens. Hi from Frankfurt. Great to have you. Welcome to you. And, of course, we can be seen worldwide via the Volkswagen homepage. You are here live when the biggest car manufacturer of the world will tell you what the direction is that they're going to move into. A brand new movement with a great deal of dynamism. Dynamism, very important for tonight also. There's so much to talk about, so let's start right away. Daniel and myself, we are not going to do it alone. We're going to have some reinforcements. A gentleman who really knows everything much better than anybody else. Here, Jochen Sengpiel, head of Volkswagen Marketing. Hi, Jochen. Jochen, everything is covered. Christo was around, or is there something that Volkswagen wants to hide? No, on the contrary. The white curtain, it's the new beginning. That's what it means for me, the blank piece of paper. And I'm just here for the team, representing the team that's really spent so much energy working for this very day in the past 3.5 years. The entire Volkswagen team really put in a lot of energy, really giving their all for this day. So we are so happy to be able to show today what we've been working on. The new orientation. Doesn't it also have to do a lot with responsibility? Huge responsibility, because Volkswagen has a very proud history. Everybody working in the car industry, a great history. Everybody knows what responsibility it means to be here to work for this. The Beetle actually made mobility possible to begin with. The Golf then made premium technology affordable for everybody. And now it's the third big chapter that we start with Volkswagen, the Volkswagen brand, and we are really looking forward to this because we assume responsibility. Volkswagen until 2050 will actually be carbon neutral. So we assume responsibility for our children, for the climate and for the future, and we are really looking forward to this. And that's why electric mobility is our lead technology. We want to be the world market leader for electric e-mobility. That's what we want to do. E-mobility for everybody. And I think it's a challenge for the entire team. And that's why today I'm really looking forward to be able to say it's the third big episode for the brand. A new era, a new beginning, the new Volkswagen. We deliver this year. Look for yourselves. Second challenge of tonight. Everybody please turn around to the stage. Enjoy.
Okay. So.
Herzlich
All right,
willkommen
a very warm
in der
welcome
neuen Welt
in the new
von
world
Volkswagen.
of Volkswagen.
Für dich ja nicht ganz so neu, Jochen.
Now, for you, it's not all that new, Jochen.
Ihr wart seit
Just
Monaten
heard it.
schon dran. Ihr habt genau
You've
an
been
diesem Moment hier
involved in
gearbeitet.
this,
Wie fühlt sich's
working for this moment for months. How does it feel? Well, after having worked for that for so long, and when you're right in the middle, now we are waiting for the curtains to come down because then it's new Volkswagen that we can see. It's incredible, the feeling. We're going to wait for the curtains to drop. I think it makes you speechless. You may be speechless for a little moment. Let's just everything take an effect on us until all the curtains have come down, everything's unveiled. But we see something already. So we do see warm colors. We do see that it's very inviting as it is, very open as it is. And you can really see the change. So visually, optically, I can see that. I noticed that. So the change is underlined optically. Now, until everything is down, let's talk about it, about the background of all of this. It's a new chapter. We've heard this, we've said this in a book. Now, that's been written now for over 80 years. Why the new presence, appearance of this brand? Definitely not just for fun. It's really something that we wanted from the inside. The brand needed this new design. It's the logical consequence of the strategic new orientation. If you want, we've visualized our strategy, making it something that can be experienced. And we as Volkswagen want to become what really made us great. Volkswagen, people's car. We want to be more nicer and more human. And that's what we needed. So the human being is very important. And I mean, there is a history behind every customer, and it's really not new that cars have to do a lot with emotions. Volkswagen then keeps focusing on the human being, people. And the brand design, the new logo is very much in the focus here. We're going to see it tonight. On a car, and we are really looking forward to this. Jochen, again, this logo. So, in how far is it also a statement for new Volkswagen? Well, the logo is the consistent further development of the strategy. It's part of new Volkswagen. It's the connecting link between the customer and the car. Here, in the back, it's a two-dimensional logo. Very important because in the digital media, it's much more powerful. There's a strong contrast. It's light and flexible. We don't really tell people where to put the logo. It's absolutely flexible here. And the vibrating W is also very nice. We're proud of this because it's iconic, and the global brand need this iconic presence. All of the children, every child knows our logo. It's at the same level that other global brands have. And the logo of this important when it's got that for the company. It's a big step to say we're going to change it. So it really signifies or reflects the change. But still, you don't forget where Volkswagen comes from. What's very important, the most important thing for the future, what are you going to focus on? It's about content. Volkswagen has to deliver. Now, one logo doesn't make a summer. Every day, every time, we have to confirm what we are, and that's very important. That's part of the new beginning of new Volkswagen. People are important for us. We are called Volkswagen. We are right in the center of our people. So we developed this other imagery, photos. It's nicer, it's more friendly. That's what Volkswagen is all about. We want to tell stories, and it's about people first. Now, we've kept talking about the new view, the visual appearance of Volkswagen, but there's more. You've thought of something else. Volkswagen sounds new also. We don't have a brand logo, but we have a sound logo, and the sound logo is very important because, after all, we've got a 360-degree sound strategy. The acoustic element is very important inside the car. The TV and the radio spots will also broadcast this. It's really consistency. Just listen for yourselves.
Volkswagen.
And Volkswagen becomes more female. Have you heard it for the first time? Our brand name is spoken by a woman, which is important. And my 3 daughters, my wife and my mother-in-law, they said, congratulations, Jochen. So, Volkswagen more female. I subscribe to this. After all, men listen when women are saying things. At least they pretend that they do. Great to have that. Jochen, there's quite a lot that's new for Volkswagen at Volkswagen. The new logo, be honest. How big is the project? What kind of challenge is that to really consistently implement this to the very last detail? Let me repeat, for the marketing guy, it's really unique. It's a one-time opportunity to tackle such a huge project for such a brand. And Volkswagen is a huge company. We've got 5 continents, 171 countries, and we've got 10,000 dealers. 70,000 logos will be replaced or exchanged in 12 months. It's a mammoth project, a huge project. But before I tell you more about it, I'd like to say thank you to my team. Because brand design, it's something that came from the inside. It wasn't an agency that we asked. The strategic design was by Klaus and marketing. We are proud of this. And the first big implementation, now the curtain didn't work, but we're going to do it in the course of the evening. The first implementation of the brand logo is what we do at home. The living room in Wolfsburg, that's where we got it. And it's up there, it's up in Wolfsburg, and we are proud of this. Okay, have a lot of success. Okay, enough said. Look at my socks here. My socks, you know, this type of pattern, but we are going to look at cars. Okay, let's make room for the cars. Jochen, thank you.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, bitte begrüßen Sie Klaus.
Welcome, Klaus Bischoff, Head of Design of the Volkswagen brand. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just now, you've been able to see the ID family of the future. That's the E-offensive, the focus of Volkswagen, the biggest E-focus or offensive of the automotive industry worldwide. In the past 4 years, we've very intensively looked into our future and the future of cars. The Frankfurt Motor Show 4 years ago and the diesel crisis were a wake-up call for us. We used the time because we knew the environment won't wait anymore. We have to act now. Because the ongoing discussions have clearly shown that the next generation expects us to supply answers. Therefore, I brought this young lady tonight in order to talk about this question here in Frankfurt. Ladies and gentlemen, Ina. Welcome, Ina, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ina. I'm sure we do start into a future that's going to meet your expectations. However, you tell us, the electric automotive future, what do you expect? Well, first of all, cars have to look good and they have to be nice. And on top of everything else, they're not to pollute the air. They have to be electrical, easy to operate also. Modern. And yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to drive them. Very important. Okay. Let's see what you say about our car here. Looking forward to this. Let's see. Let's check it out. And maybe to take up what you've said. Let's do a little exercise together. Let's think how a nice car should look. What do you think? Does it need a face? Does it need a smile, maybe? A laughing face? Yes? Okay. Let's do it. Let's start with a smile. Let's have the car smile, please. Okay, I think you have to come over here so that people see what we do here. It's important, you know? It's really important here. So the car is supposed to smile. Okay, smiling face for our car here. Is that okay? What do you think, Ina? It's okay. Okay, we got the mouth. What else do we need? Nose, maybe? What do you think? Definitely. Okay, the nose here. And at Volkswagen design, there's something else that's very important. Volkswagen Emblem. That's always right in the middle of the design here, right in the center of everything. Must be noticeable and must be proud, sort of looking out into the world from the front. And eyes, of course, we do need eyes, most definitely. Okay, here we go. Got eyes here. And we're almost there. A face. A car. Now, if you're not bored by all these people, but still, so an expression, a face is important for the car. It needs to look in a positive way. And e-mobility is something positive. That's what we want to communicate. And I'll show you what the car is like, our car. Okay, we'll get it up here onto the stage. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the ID.3. Believe it, I've really been looking forward to this moment. We've worked for this very hard. And this is what new Volkswagen looks like. So, what's so special about the design here of the ID.3? It's a completely new architecture, completely new proportions that we got. And for us as designers, we have the opportunity, of course, to be courageous. It's also an obligation, and really do new things. Move into new directions. And that's what we've done. Well, we've thought back to what made Volkswagen great, and that's being liked, likable. Volkswagen is one of the few brands that was really born without a huge radiator grille. The engine was air-cooled in the rear, nobody needed radiator grilles. So that was really something brilliant. Two very friendly eyes, one line across the face, very, very clear, very pure. That's what we thought of. It's a very closed front part, very few graphically very clean and pure lines, a lamp signature across the whole front, the new, very clearly designed Volkswagen Emblem, bright and glossy white on glossy black. There are lots of sensors in the car, but they are hardly noticeable. We wanted to have everything very pure, clean, and quiet. You're going to see an element that you're going to see in many products of the ID family, the honeycomb. That stands for sustainability. Okay, let's turn the car around and see the lateral view in order to take a look at the proportions of the car. What we consider particularly important when we designed the platform, what was very important to get this unique proportion, or these unique proportions. And I think we've been successful together with engineers. Look at the overhang, for example, the length. Very clear, very precise, very short. The internal combustion engine, not necessary anymore. So there is no reason for a huge hood or an A-pillar that actually is moved back. It's very much in front. It's a completely new proportion. Huge wheels, very important also, in order to let the car appear compact. It's large inside, but very compact from the outside. And this makes it possible for us designers to just use very few clear lines that are positioned perfectly. The side panels, there's only one line that emphasizes the architecture from the front all the way, with a very nice tension at the same time around the entire car. That's one smooth, clean line, a very sustainable type of design. It's timeless. The tension, the stretch of the inside and the interior, that's what we wanted to emphasize too. Because in these E-vehicles, there's also a shift in paradigms, a Passat interior with the footprint of a Golf. The roof was always black, very stretched and extended. And since we've got the augmented HUD system in the car, we also need a windshield which is quite towards the front. The black roof then also offers some additional extension or stretch. What's typical of Volkswagen here, a very clear C-pillar, very powerful, forceful. And that's something that emphasizes the Volkswagen brand and what's so special about it and typical. And again, the ID honeycomb element from the rear. Very much emphasizing the breadth, it's broad. The black paint all around the car, from the tailgate, over the roof, into the gutter. So, second line that goes all around. And what's also very significant, the new logo. The product name, And also the lights, the signature there. It's very smooth, very quiet. So the spoiler coming way down, and it's very sculptured, the rear, because we need a good drag coefficient. Let's take a look at the inside, the interior. We're going to turn the car back. And let's see what we find inside. So what we consider particularly important was that electric driving, which is so different, so fluent, so smooth, and gliding, we wanted to celebrate it with a new form. So the cluster, the dashboard is 150 millimeters further away. Freestanding displays make it possible for the driver to operate everything intuitively. Everything is understood right away, and everything is exactly where you're expecting it, where you expect it. The ID.3 uses very modern materials. The color concept is completely new for the brand also. And do take a look at the beautiful logo, how nicely it is worked into the white steering wheel. Beautiful detail, just a detail, but still beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, our ID.3. Enjoy it. Thank you to Klaus Bischoff. Thanks a lot. Now you should have seen Silke enjoying the applause. Okay, do it again. Yeah, it's great. For me, it's been special because I've been involved here for 4 years. It's great to be here. Silke Bakschik, sales and marketing, that's your responsibility here for the ID family. And you're going to present the car a bit more in detail. Volkswagen reinvents themselves. Yeah, when you look at the design, you can tell. It's the third new chapter of Volkswagen. After the Beetle and the Golf, now it's emission-free mobility. So cars are more human. They become more human, important for Volkswagen. So I've never really seen a car that actually winks at me. You noticed that before. But I think for the audience, I have to do it again. The white one. Now, look at the face of the white one. In the morning, you go to your car with your purse. I have got one. I have got one. With the key way at the bottom of the purse. But the car notices that you're coming, so it opens the eyes and it looks at you. Also, in the other direction. So every morning the car says, okay, let's take off, I'm fully charged. Fascinating. So what's special about it for you? What's the special thing about the ID.3 for you? I love revolution, and there is so much revolution in there. It doesn't just look great, but look at this. It's as compact as a Golf, and it's like an app when you drive it. And the interior is like the middle segment car and the punch of a GTI. Online, everything, all the time online, easy to operate. And it's going to be CO2 neutral when it's delivered to the customer. The ID.3, this is it. It's not just possible to drive without emissions, it's really a lot of fun, and it's even better. The ID.3 is only the beginning. There's going to be a whole family. We've seen quite a few already. For many, e-mobility is something very special, very interesting, fascinating. But others say, well, range is something that I'm not so happy about. What about that? That's why we developed the purely electric modular toolkit at the beginning, 4 years ago. We said, okay, range, that's something that we need, otherwise there's going to be no breakthrough. That's why we got the nice wheelbase. Now, the biggest battery will fit in there. That's how we developed the platform. It's fit for the future, no matter what happens with cell technology. It's all in there. Now, great range is not the best price per kilometer. So in the past 4 years at Volkswagen, that's what you looked at, and this is the first result. But of course, you also looked at all kinds of other things, charging as well. What about charging then? Well, first of all, we've got bigger ranges, so there's less of a problem with charging the batteries. So customers can actually have Pure, Pro and Pro S ranges. Pro S, 550 kilometers range for long-distance drivers, and the others 430 and 330. That's what people can pick from. And when you have a Pro, for example, or a Pro S, well, you just charge it once every 1 or 2 weeks, because usually you drive something like 50 kilometers a day, and they can also do quick charging. Ionity, 100 kilowatts, and it just takes half an hour for 300 extra kilometers. That's it. Because now I just go to the petrol station. So where will you charge in future? How is it going to work? You try it. It just happens on the side. Perfect for you. You've got your own home. So when you sleep, it does charge, or when you go shopping, whatever you do, you just use any socket for charging it. And that's why everybody's going to use it. It can be charged anywhere. And we developed an ID charger, which is the Volkswagen Wallbox, which is a bit faster. Half price of what you get from others. And when you live in a city, you've got quick charging and with the big ranges. Once or every 2 weeks or every week. Okay. Suitability for everyday use. That's important. Okay, we talked about it. But what about pleasure of driving? Because I love cars. Yeah, you're the same. Volkswagen, you were also responsible for the GTI there. Okay, fun and pleasure of driving. Okay, don't you worry. You know about technology? Okay, I'll tell you. With the electric cars like this, they've got a great torque right from the very beginning, good punch. But this also is rear axle or rear wheel drive. 310 Newton meters on the road right away, one step here. So you've got a GTI. When you're at the traffic light, it's really fun. You've got the low center of gravity because of the battery, great distribution, optimum distribution of weight, and our chassis engineers enjoy that in the test track. Sound, new. Yes, new and different. And of course, an electric car needs to be quiet. So when you're in a street coffee shop and a car, an ID passes you, you think, oh, was that a car? And when you press the play pedal, that's how we call it, then things start to happen. Star Wars and Millennium Falcon, we mix that in. Okay, let's take a look inside. Why not? And when looking inside, Klaus Bischoff showed us the first pictures already. It's like my smartphone, a bit. Yeah, not so many keys or push buttons, you don't need it. So quite a few things have been abolished. We just focused on what you really need. Operating it is completely different. ID, intuitive device. There are lots of other meanings as well, but that's one. So I can put my purse into the center console because we clean it up. And you start the car differently. It's different from a normal car, conventional one. Yeah, you get in. You take the lever right next to the steering wheel, push it forward, press play, and off you go. High-tech? It sounds simple and high-tech. Right, but there's something else just for you. Listen. The head-up display. So it's like, it's augmented reality, you can say. You actually look at the road ahead of you and you see all the important information right where it's necessary. We think that this is going to be the future, and we anticipate that, as Volkswagen always do. Okay, voice control, that's something of voice activation is important. ID.3 there as well. Yeah, it doesn't just look at you, you can also talk to it. It's cool and interesting for your kids as well. And for those who remember being a kid, that's something else. Because right in the front of the cockpit, we've got an ID light here. And you actually say, hello, ID. And then you see it does listen to me and it knows who's talking, front passenger or driver. And then it answers and you get the green light here, like Knight Rider before. I remember that. It's like a tablet on wheels, is that it? Yeah, at least it's a big step in this direction. It's continuously online, which is important and very convenient, because you always want the latest map information in your navigation. And new charging stations are added also. You need the updates. So forget about the faulty ones, and you are told where the new ones are. And updates will also come. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you join your car, and it knows a new trick, like rolls its eyes or winks at you. Okay, the smartphone is always connected to the ID.3, definitely whenever you want. It's really very convenient, comfortable. It's one app that we're going to have to check and control the car, and the ecosystem will also be operated this way. So you take a look at the car. How does it feel? Is it nicely free, warm, defrosted? While your neighbor is still scratching eyes from the window shields. Okay, e-mobility, and what's so great about it, we all agree, it's emission-free. But you want to go further, Volkswagen. It's not just that the driving is emission-free. Exactly, we want to do this extra mile, this extra point. From the point of the customers, it's very nice as well. We've got a world premiere of the second kind. It's the first car which is really carbon neutral when it's delivered to the customer. It's like a baby that's still innocent. And then we tell customers it's really important to easy to keep it clean. Use eco or green electricity. Then there is no extra CO2. You're actually carbon neutral. Very important. Silke, the price. We promised something there. Like the Golf, we said, we promised that. Entry level below 30,000 euros. And in many countries, you get some subsidies, some state incentives. And then that's the Golf range today. Cost of ownership is even lower. Running cost is lower. Because, well, 1/3 fuel saved and service events once every 2 years without any mileage specifications. See, we really trust this technology. To summarize, what have you had? The price, the range. Quick charging, we've talked about all of this. There are no barriers anymore. Now, if you compare it, the ID.3 and everything that's still to come, the complete ID family, it might be that the ID.3 will steal the thunder from conventional cars. Well, I wouldn't mind, believe it or not. Now, irrespective of the drive, look at the car. It's a cute little, it's a wonderful car, and it's a real Volkswagen. It's a beautiful car, a real Volkswagen. And why not drive emission-free? No reason. The time's come. And it's just a matter of attitude. 30,000 pre-orders we got already. Will I get one? Do order. Now, really have to be quick, because, of course, things are going to happen. There's a waiting list. Maybe it's not the ID first over there, but still. So you get a quick and a very fast series model. So it does make sense to reserve quickly, to become in the waiting, be part of the waiting loop. Your kids are to be proud of you. Yours are already, definitely. I have to show this. May I? Okay. Silke, that's where your son is. Henry. And Henry, after school, drove here or came here 4 hours. Henry, come on, I promised something here. Henry, because it's not just a big moment for your mum, but also for you, Henry. He actually has taken the video here, filmed everything. And we do it for you. Mama, you always say they have to drive electrically. Okay, lots of proud kids. And starting in the middle of next year, well, I think there are going to be lots of proud kids in Germany. More than 30,000 IDs will be on the road, but we are going to get lots more. Thank you. Silke, thank you for telling all of this. We are looking forward to the boss, Dr. Herbert Diess. A warm welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The curtains are gone, so everything's fine. Great show so far. I'd also like to welcome you most cordially here at Volkswagen. Just about 4 years, not even 4 years, from the first sketch until the world premiere. We're really very proud and happy that we do present a new car, a new drive concept, and a new Volkswagen. To be able to do that, we're happy. For us, this evening is a moment of really great importance, decisive importance. Everybody at Volkswagen knew the ID.3 will be more than just a new model. It is the model, the car that people expected us to launch. the car that we've also expected of ourselves, a Volkswagen, a people's car, which has taken the electric car, moving it from a niche right into the center of the society, making it accessible for everybody. Now the ID.3 is finished. In November, production will start in Zwickau. In spring, the first customers will get their cars. The ID.3 is the first carbon-neutral electric car of the world. The manufacturing of the battery cells, the car production, and, if it is so wished, the charging, is done with 100% green power. Used batteries are used again. Non-avoidable emissions are offset by climate protection projects. The first one was started just a few days ago in the rainforest of Borneo. For the Volkswagen brand, the ID.3 is the beginning of a major electric offensive for the entire group. At Audi, they already started the e-tron successfully. Porsche, just a few days ago, celebrated the world premiere of the Taycan, the sportiest electric car of the world. And more models will follow soon. They are all proof of the fact that there are convincing vehicle concepts in all segments for the most varied customer wishes. This is how we enhance the identity of our brands, also when it comes to driving electrically. Until 2028, we will launch almost 70 new electric cars. When you look at the volume in total, will be a number of 22 million electric cars on the basis of our modular toolkit, the electric car, across all of the brands and the toolkits. The face of our fleet will actually be changed in a sustainable way, a dramatic way. In about 10 years in Europe and China, almost every other brand car or car of the group will be electric. There's no other traditional manufacturer that has been as consistent in the approach as we are, because the electric car is the best choice for our customers. It offers enjoyable driving, acceleration, low cost when it comes to maintenance and service, also running costs, and increasingly also sufficient charging infrastructures, and of course, for the environment, there is no alternative. Therefore, we now have to make sure that e-mobility becomes widely accepted. With this systematic change, this transformation, we secure the future of individual mobility for millions of people. Of course, there are people who don't want to have a car, or who believe that cars have no future any longer. I just talked with a representative of Sand im Getriebe, Spanner in the Works, an action campaign. Of course, the discussion is very important, but we beg to be different. Some simply don't want to accept and understand with their particular view of the world. It is still true that cars have a big future because they leave their negative properties. The car becomes clean and safe at the same time, and it also at the same time fulfills a timeless wish that has always moved people and will keep moving them. Self-determination and freedom, technology, progress, and prosperity. In the past decades, we've been able to fulfill this dream for millions of people, and we're going to continue to do it. Because people still have this wish, and we feel this day in, day out, when talking to our customers all over the world. In China, South America, Africa, or here at home. We're going to meet this wish with innovative technology in a responsible way. 14% of global CO2 emissions are generated by the transport sector. Passenger cars, trucks, aircraft, and ships. It's only one part but it's a very relevant part all the same. The passenger cars of our group brands, these passenger cars alone emit 1%. We are going to reduce this step by step because every ton of CO2 keeps warming up the Earth even further. The electric drive today is the best way of driving because it's the most energy efficient possibility to reduce this percent down to zero. Over a life cycle of 200,000 kilometers, an electric car causes only half the amount of CO2 that a diesel engine or a petrol engine would cause when you drive with green energy. Therefore, we should move away from energy generation with coal as quickly as possible, because only then does electric mobility make sense. Now, we got the car for this change of the system. In order to be successful with this transformation, industry, society, and politics have to act in a decisive way. This applies to the generation, the controlling, and the storage of regenerative energy. When it's windy today, but not a lot of energy is in demand, the peaks cannot be used, they cannot be stored. The capacity is left unused, which is inefficient. Electric cars, with its possibility to store energy, can help to improve the situation. Next, there's something else. Charging infrastructure. We have to make it easier to build it up, and we also have to accelerate this. Thirdly, it's very important that e-mobility is also possible for lower income groups and small businesses. Even in particular, smaller cars that are electrified, they are above average when it comes to the prices. Therefore, we need intelligent incentives. And part of this, that e-mobility is also supported when we are talking used cars. The taxes on company cars have to be maintained, and this is also what the politicians want. And we could also create a mobility fund for e-mobility, set it up, which, among other things, might make it possible that cars at prices below 20,000 euros can charge free of charge. And fourthly, we have to change the taxation. The motor vehicle tax is measured on the basis or determined on the basis of displacement and emissions. Diesel and petrol are taxed differently. So electric driving must be worth it for the citizens, otherwise they won't opt for clean mobility. The Volkswagen Group will definitely help to overcome all these challenges in the interest of our customers. Protecting the climate, ladies and gentlemen, is not a burden, but it's a new opportunity for Germany and Europe. Here, we can create the home market, the lead market for new CO2-free mobility. Climate production is thus turned into a motor of innovation, generating increasingly competitive advantages, and we can shape the change in such a way that everybody will be able to afford climate protection. Ladies and gentlemen, the Volkswagen Group is in the lead moving forward. We shape the mobility of the future for us and for our coming generations. That is our approach and our ambition. And we've got the courage, the power and the passion of 660,000 enthusiastic staff, more than 40,000 suppliers, and our very strong global dealership network. We will achieve it. We got them to back us. Thank you very much, and let's all look forward to a successful Frankfurt Motor Show.
Dankeschön.
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 Herzlichen Dank.
Dr. Herbert-Dies, vielen Dank. Meine Damen und Herren.
Ja, die Volkswagen Group Night ist noch nicht zu Ende. Sie sind
Volkswagen Group Night is not over. You are still very much invited to do what you would like to do. I think you do want to take a look at the cars. Walk around, you might want to touch them. Now, tonight, you want to re-experience the group night and see what the transformation of this car company really entails. It's great to have you here. All of the booths in hall number 3 will stay open. Do come and visit. Enjoy the evening, eat something, drink something, and we are looking forward to meeting all the protagonists of the show. Daniel Fischer and my colleague, on behalf of Volkswagen, we wish you great evening, great that you're here, and enjoy the evening. Okay, everybody, come up to the stage for a family photo, a group photo. And of course, an applause is perfectly in order.
Genau, Henry. Henry. Sind alle da?
Studio, and here, welcome back to Volkswagen Live with a new brand design with a logo, very colorful, no longer black and white. And I would suggest that we would now start to move into our studio, and I'm supported here by the actor Sebastian Koch. Mr. Koch, this was the first group night. How did you like it? Well, that was exciting. Also, this huge screen. This is incredible. This is 30 to 40 meters of length. And the screen service is tremendous. And the pictures are very digital, enormous. They really catch the eye. And what I like is that Volkswagen was courageous enough to go into this and really comes down to brass tack and tries it out. Well, you've tried out many things. This year you had already done the first season of Shadow Play in Prague. So what were your expectations when you came here, and were they fulfilled? Answer, well, Lisa, I think that it's quite impressive that the whole group has committed to this e-mobility, and to experience this premiere is really a great change. It is really a world premiere. It is an era, exactly, that was the word I was looking for, a new era that starts today, and with a momentum and power and commitment. I can feel this here, so it's great that they get started. So e-mobility, is this also a topic for you? Did you go into this personally? Would you consider this for yourselves? Yes, I think everybody would have to do this in modern times. And as I heard that by 2050, they plan to completely abandon the internal combustion engine, if I got this right. So such huge goals can only be pursued if we start off. And this is the feeling I had today. Everybody has to play up to the game. And I would certainly also change to an E model. So now you have seen the ID.3, at least from afar. Would that be a car where I'd say, well, I'd like to take a closer look at it later? Oh, yes, certainly. I do not know how many models the group has planned for. Across the different brands, I think it is up to 80 models that will be launched in the market. Exactly. At the group level, we have many models. The near future goal is up to 25 vehicles. Well, that's tremendous. So there's still quite something on offer, definitely. So you will take a look at it. The Taycan, Porsche, and the Audi e-tron, we also have it. And so we have some models already on offer. Yes, I think a decision was taken, and it's gotten across very clearly today that this decision has been taken. There's no way back. And of course, the consumer now is in a position to also follow suit, because decisive questions have been clarified, such as charging times, battery warranties also. I think Volkswagen offers 160,000 kilometers of warranty, exactly 8 years, so that's quite considerable, exactly. So that's the figure where the consumers would say, yes, I can have trust in it, so that's a starting point. How about the assist systems? Becomes more and more important, the assist systems. Do you use them? Or would you say, well, I can drive myself, I don't need that? Well, oh no, I use these systems. I think they are great because it is a supporting function. It's not a function that you simply, so to speak, lose control of, where you say, well, the car drives autonomously, I can do something else. No, but you can be more courageous in driving, and it helps you. It is a proper driving assistance. I like to drive, but I like also the assist systems. Mr. Koch, I wish you a very pleasant rest of the evening here at Group Night. Enjoy your first Group Night. It was great to have you here, and I just heard that the chief executive, Herbert Diess, has managed to cover the last meters through the throng, and he will now come to our studio. I'm so glad to have him, Dr. Herbert Diess. Here he is. Mr. Diess, what a crowd. It's great that you made the way here to the studio. Now, we just had the premiere of the ID.3. The Porsche Taycan has already been presented. How confident are you that these two cars will also coin the automotive future as the Beetle, the Golf, or the 911 Porsche did? Answer, well, I think that all three vehicles, the e-tron as well, could you please speak up a bit? It's very difficult to hear you. It's very noisy here. I think that all three cars show very clearly how e-mobility can work and what opportunities they open up. All the three cars show that in e-mobility, our brands still are important. The Porsche Taycan is definitely the most sporty e-vehicle that you could think of. A tremendous acceleration and dynamism. So it's the really first premium vehicle in this segment. And the ID.3, that is the counterpart of the Golf in the new electric world. And it shows that e-mobility is not a threat, but an opportunity. Now the group has aligned itself for the future. On Thursday, Madam Chancellor will also come to visit the stand. So what would still have to happen on the political agenda in order to further promote the topic of e-mobility? Yeah, that's correct. We need political support. The e-car will not prevail on its own. We need infrastructure, charging infrastructure. We need CO2 neutral power. So all of this, the car manufacturers cannot do alone. But I think that the political support is given. It still needs to be implemented. But I think there is a broad, common understanding and opinion among the persons in charge, the ministry, so that it's worthwhile to fight for e-mobility. Talking about protection of the climate, the young people request and demand a faster opt-out from internal combustion engine technology, maybe the end of individual mobility. Answer, no, we think it's not correct, because these vehicles that we have presented here show that individual mobility is also possible in a sustainable manner, in a carbon-neutral manner. So as the ID.3 has shown, this is also safer, emission-free in urban traffic. So the car loses a lot of these negative characteristics it's attributed to, and this is why the discussion becomes more active. I think that the discussion that we have in favor or against the car is always politically based and will not prevail. So the group has now also announced to be completely carbon neutral in its production. How far have you progressed here? Yes, we have made a lot of progress here. Our factories invest a lot into renewable energies, wind energy, and also the reduction of power with new installations and processes. We have made headway here. But the CO2 emission at the factory level is really negligible compared to what we will then have in the car life cycle and in the battery production. But in our own production, we think that we can halve our emissions by 2025. Yeah, but you personally have also plans. I know that you also try to minimize your personal carbon footprint. How far have you progressed here? Answer, well, so. First of all, my footprint is pretty high on account of the many journeys that I have to take. I travel a lot of intercontinental flights, and they are extremely detrimental to the climate, particularly when traveling on board the company jet. I tried to have more scheduled flights. I just went to China with a scheduled plane and a scheduled flight, and I think I can reduce my personal footprint by, say, 20% next year. So it's a very noisy crowd. The journalists are waiting for you. Thank you for having taken your time. I wish you a great evening. Thank you. And we would now like to take a look again at the ID and to take...
The future has begun. 3 years after as a concept, the ID.3 celebrates its world premiere at the IAA. It's not only the centerpiece of the fully electric ID family, but just like the Beetle and the Golf, stands for the beginning of a new era. 204 horsepower and an extended range makes for lots of driving pleasure. And the entry-level price of under 30,000 euros makes the ID.3 an electric car for everyone. More than 30,000 customers have already registered to buy the car as part of a pre-booking campaign. And this is what the new owners can look forward to. Of course, a new design always takes a bit of convincing. After all, we are reinventing the brand. With the ID, we were able to create very unique proportions, and that's decisive. Every little bolt, every detail, every corner on the exterior and interior, and with respect to materials, we were able to start from scratch with all of it.
Alles neu machen dürfen.
That's the great thing about it. Having many different opinions and talents collide and create the best solution possible. It was a huge challenge and a fantastic project.
Ein ganz, ganz tolles Projekt.
The modular electric toolkit is built around an HV battery. This battery must be as simple as possible. The big goal is to develop a large chocolate bar-shaped battery that lives in the vehicle's underbody.
Komplett im Fahrzeug im Unterboden verbaut ist, zu entwickeln.
For us as engineers, this was a great advantage. It allowed us to create a concept for the ID that was optimized for this type of drive. The ID.3 is a purely battery-powered vehicle, as can be seen here. Our advantage is that we can change certain parameters of the platform in order to find all the benefits of the battery platform within the MEB.
Alle Vorzüge für die reine Batterieplattform im MEB finden.
This is a so-called ergonomic seat box. It's a life-size model of the vehicle for the initial development process. It lets us see the complete interior about 4 years before the vehicle comes to market. We have to incorporate a very large battery into this car, and we have to do it in a way that doesn't cause disadvantages for our customers. That's one of the challenges. Even more exciting to me was to make use of the advantages, like removing the engine in the front and making this whole space usable for the customer by transferring it into the interior. That was a lot of fun. It's an extraordinary feeling to sit in this car.
Ja, ganz genau hingeschaut.
Well, and my next guest is also taking a close look, because we have Strizo here, and good to have you. You have just taken a look at this show. What was your personal highlight here? Answer, well, I think that all the models in the beginning, that was quite impressive. It was gigantic. And I'm also looking forward to the bus model that will still be in store for us. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how this new model will behave on the road. Have you ever driven a vehicle? Yes, an e-Golf for a whole month. And in urban traffic, it's really tremendous. It has great pull and acceleration. We're described as you compare the e-vehicle to an internal combustion engine. Well, as regards driving behavior, you have a lot of driving fun, and it simply pulls off when you push the accelerator. You know this also from riding a taxi, when you're a passenger on a taxi with a hybrid engine, you realize, well, they really pull off a lot, and if you can really drive it, it really pays off. You were now, we could see you in the mini-series for 8 days. This is kind of an apocalyptic scenario, but it also has to do with climate issues. Do you also give thoughts to that? Would you say we should really watch out more for the climate and be more economically friendly, environmentally friendly? Exactly, that is really topic number one here. We shouldn't really beat about the bush. And I like to support Dirk Steffen's petition for species protection and to incorporate this now to our basic law and try to mobilize the crowd also as regards e-vehicles. But of course, with new drives, we have to think in new ways. Well, it's the ID.3 perhaps a vehicle where I would say, well, I will take a look at this later. Maybe I will even have it in my garage later. We'll have different ranges to cover. So this makes it a bit difficult. But it's up to 550 kilometers, we heard. Sometimes even more than that. Well, with a small coffee break, I think it takes 34 minutes in order to be recharged to a level of 80%. So after 550 kilometers, you could have a coffee break. Yeah, I will think it over. I will consider it. Yeah, great. So, very good. So that was my sales pitch. How about autonomous driving? Could you imagine that as well? No, that's difficult. It's a very difficult point as regards the future. I don't think it's very easy to imagine to sit down into such a capsule and be driven by the car. Sometimes I try to imagine it, because sometimes when I travel long distances, I try to imagine that this were an autonomous car, I would sit here, oh my God, well, you need a lot of confidence. I would have to develop a lot of confidence at least. But of course, you could start this gradually. You could have assist systems. They have many assist systems, so this is the way it starts, exactly. So maybe that in a traffic jam, you would perhaps check the lane assist. Why don't you need a jam for that? Lane assist can also be tested on the motorway when you drive there. But this is where autonomous driving starts, actually, and this is where you still have to develop confidence and trust first. And this apparently needs to be developed for you. Yes, exactly. But I've been driving cars for many, many years now. Yeah, but this is, of course, a very a part of thing of the future. You've seen the i3 model now on stage, or undercars as well. Was there a car that really touched you? We would say, well, that would be it. Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, the big sedan looks very nice. I mean, the designers are unlimited now. They could really develop wonderful shapes and forms and designs to build beautiful cars on this platform. So let's take note of a design that you find appealing. So I wish you an enjoyable second group night. As I just said, you had been here already a few years ago. So enjoy. And we will now have change. 120 times she had the shirt of the national soccer team, football team. 4 times she was a European champion, and now she is the coach of the national football team, Martina Voss-Tecklenburg. Hello, Ms. Voss-Tecklenburg. Good evening. It's so great to have you here. That is a lot of people here, a huge crowd. How did you enjoy the group night and the novelties that were presented? Yes, I'm really overwhelmed. That's the first time that I'm here at the Frankfurt Motor Show and now at the group night. I didn't have any idea how fantastic this would be. It is great when you attend a world premiere live. So that was quite an experience. Yes, and we made it very colorful, brightly colored. How did you like it? If you take a look here at this new outfit, so to speak, well, it is very appealing, great colors. I go very much for colors, although I wear black today, but it conveys a lot of warmth and activity and agility, so it's a great thing. Now, recently you were at the component factory in Kassel. Now, the team apparently liked that because you then had 10-0 and then 8-0 wins. Now, is the team now on the right way again? Yes, after the World Championship, we said it is a process which belonged to the World Championship, and now we are again facing the challenge of a qualification again. We beat two group opponents here, and we would like to finish this qualification and the championship as we begun it. But of course, there will be other challenges which will be ahead of us for the European Championship. It was an important step for the young team. But you could feel that female football is really making headway. The Federal League has been extended for more TV coverage. The World Championship has also been given more coverage. How much does it feel with pride? Well, I'm still a pioneer, maybe a bit old-fashioned. I've been here in the game for more than 30 years now, and we then dreamt of what female football players can do today, to play abroad and join championships and to enthuse millions of spectators. And I think we have had a great development and we can be very proud of it. The next qualification match will be in October. What does the national coach do in between? Do you sit at home, take a look at stadiums, and would you also ponder about the optimum alignment? Yes, of course. But we go also to the Federal League. We have coach meetings. We attend the coach conference in Milan. Tomorrow I go to the 216 national game and take a look at the match there. So we're always on the way, and we certainly will not get bored. So every success for the next match, which will be against Greece, if I'm correctly informed, in October. So you will certainly also master this challenge. I wish you an enjoyable group night. Tomorrow we will have your colleague, Joachim Löw. And the men are still in their match, in their qualification match, and we will also try to find out what the present situation is. I just heard 0-0. Okay, not so we have to wait, but they've been only playing for 20 minutes, so the result may change. So this brings us to the end of our program, and tomorrow we will get a few more impressions on the ID.3, and we will then meet you again at 10 o'clock for the second program, Volkswagen Live. Ralf Bramschnitter, Frank Welch, and we will also talk with Thomas Malczak, an auto blogger. So it will be very exciting. I wish you a pleasant evening and see you tomorrow. Bye.